Welcome back to Julie's Village. I'm glad you're here. As a reminder, if you would like more information or you'd like to be added to my waiting list for receiving consulting or coaching like services to help apply strategies to your individual family circumstances, please feel free to email me at juliesvillage@gmail.com. Julie's does not have an apostrophe. We've been talking a lot about behavior and how to support behavior. First, how to analyze what is happening with behavior and find the purpose of it, and then how to address it. I'm going to continue with that discussion today, but I wanted to mention a specific document called Competing Behavior Pathway. In this document, looks at a lot of those elements that you find in a functional behavioral assessment for those of you who are teachers working in the school setting, for a parent who's just trying to figure out how do I even start? What do I look at? How do I determine what is going on? How can I find that function of the behavior? This can be a very helpful document. It is a chart that looks at some of those elements that we've previously talked about, such as those setting events, and then what happens before, during, and after behavior, and what is it that you would like to see instead. I will go ahead and post a link to this chart or this document in the comments so that you can see one for yourself, but today I will just talk through some of the elements of it. We've already spent quite a bit of time on setting events, but talking about that piece, that before, during, and after piece, can, if you just jot down notes of what you see, and I would just focus on one behavior at a time when filling out this particular chart, but just write down, what do you see? What is it that happens during this behavior? So, for instance, if you have a child that frequently runs away from the dinner table, then you could write down what do you see that just, it might just be as simple as that. They run away from the dinner table. Is there screaming that goes along with it? Is there hiding? Is there a specific place that they are running to? So just again, giving an example, if they are running away from the table, you might consider, well, what's happening right before dinner when I'm asking them to come to the table? Are they doing something that they really enjoy and then I'm asking them to come to the table? Are they with particular people? Are they enjoying their just having alone time? What is it that's going on right before dinner? And as you think through that, that can kind of give you some ideas of like, oh, all right, well, maybe there's something that they're not wanting to come to the dinner table from. Or you might look at what is happening at the dinner table right before they run. Is a particular food put on their plate? Does somebody turn to them and address them? Are they being asked a question and maybe they don't like to answer those questions? Looking at those pieces can kind of help you tease out, well, what might be happening that would explain the function of this behavior. And then the last piece is what happens right after. So when they leave the table, what are they running to? Is there something, do they go to the same place every time they run? Is there something in that place that they like? Or again, are they hiding somewhere? Are they seeking that alone time? Or is there an adult response that happens pretty consistently? Does an adult pick them up and bring them back to the table? So are they maybe seeking some of that sensory input or that one-on-one contact time with a particular adult? Or does a sibling chase after them and maybe they enjoy interacting with that one sibling, or they enjoy the game of chase that happens? Those things can help you again to look at, okay, why might this be happening? So in just a contrived scenario, I'm going to say that you start to realize that your child is leaving the dinner table and you've noticed that they are watching a particular show right before dinner. You bring them to the dinner table and they pretty quickly run right back into the room where that show is playing. Maybe you are starting to piece together, oh, okay, they are leaving because they want to continue to watch the show. This is a favorite show of theirs. So, a big part of competing pathway and what it does is it looks at, okay, so what is the desired behavior? What you would love to have happen is have your child at the dinner table eating dinner with the family and at some level interacting with the family. That is the desired behavior. The true behavior, what is happening is that they are running from the table. And it seems to be that they're running from the table because they are trying to engage with this show again. Whether or not that's actually happening or they're actually able to, that seems to be what they are trying to get. So the next piece that you're looking at is what could we put in place to help get closer to that desired behavior? Now, one limitation that I think of the competing behavior pathway is that the way that the form is set up makes it seem like there is one thing that you could do to help get them closer. But oftentimes it's more of like a stair step to getting them closer to the desired behavior. So you can either divide that section that does that alternate behavior piece into a few sections, or you can do multiple as your child is successful with each stage. So what you might do to start, and again, this is not the ideal, but it is closer to the ideal. Some people shy away from these things because they feel like, well, I don't want to set them up for that to be the habit either. But if you remember, this is a stair step, and that there are things that you can do from here to help them get even closer to the desired behavior. Sometimes that helps to make these first steps a little bit more perhaps palatable or acceptable to you. But one thing that you might consider is all of the TVs everywhere else in the houses are off so that they cannot access this show through those TVs. But what you do have is that show playing on a phone or iPad right by their dinner plate. So now they're in the same room as the family. It's still not desired, but they're no longer running away from the table. And you do this for a little while and helping them build the habit of at dinner time, I can still go to the table and there is my desired, what they're desiring, what they're wanting to get. They can see the show. From there, you could break it into the next step. Like they come to the table and they first must say hello to everybody at the table before you will turn on the show. Then it might be that they have to say something to everybody at the table, or at least to one person at the table, and take 3 bites before the show gets turned on. Somehow you can just keep pushing that farther and farther back till eventually what you get is that they are at the table and they are interacting with the conversation. And it might get to the point where interacting with the family is motivating enough. They come to learn that they enjoy that interaction, that you no longer need to have that show be a part of it. And now that is the reinforcement. It might be that now the reinforcement is that they have eaten all of dinner with their family and now they get to go watch a show with the family, or the family joins them in watching their favorite show. Or maybe they watch the show, but they get to watch 2 full episodes of it because they came and ate with the family and left the show out of it completely. Whatever it is that works for you or your situation, that again is just one example. If you're looking at this in the classroom and 2 teachers and other professionals working in this, I am just putting in just an idea here of how this form can be used. I was on our school's behavior response to intervention team. And as teachers would come and bring concerns to the table, I would have one of these blank charts in front of me and I would just be filling it out the entire time they were talking. Then, if we just did some kind of behavior support, I had ideas right there to present to the teacher. I could explain to the team, I could take all of the anecdotal information that a teacher was sharing with us, and now I had a visual chart to present to the rest of the team, showing them what it looked like was going on based off of what they were sharing. And the teacher could share if, yes, that was correct or not. And then from there, we could talk as a team about, well, what would it look like now, knowing all of this information? How can we create those stair steps? What's it going to look like when desired behavior happens or doesn't happen? How can we frame these, any kind of consequences to help reinforce what we want to see happen and not reinforce the things that we do not want to see happen? And then how can we make these plans happen within the school day? What team members and resources do we need to help make these plans happen? From there, if behavior ended up or if we saw that there was a need moving forward for more of like a functional behavioral assessment and a formal behavior intervention plan put into place, these documents kind of gave a springboard for where do we go next. It showed us information that we already had collected and helped us to know what additional information we needed to go from there. So with that, a school example, a classroom example might be if you, again, we could have students who are perhaps eloping again from their work area. And you might look at, well, why is that happening? Are they trying to avoid somebody? Are they trying to avoid work? Or sometimes what happens is kids get sent to a specific adult or a specific place to work, and that is really reinforcing because they want that one-on-one time with a specific adult. So as you're looking at this competing pathway, you can look to see, well, what is happening? And are we accidentally inadvertently reinforcing this behavior? And if that's the case, what is something that we can do to help get them closer to that desired behavior? So again, with that leaving the work area, you might look to see, are they just seeking a break? And if that is the case, is there a way that we can have them better ask for a break rather than running away? The desired is just to be in the classroom completing the work. But if they're not able to do that, then how can we help them to at least let an adult know that they need a break and have an adult help frame what that break looks like? And then as you're looking for that desired behavior, getting closer to that desired behavior, are there ways that you can maybe build a break into their day, but you are still getting the amount of work completed that you need? So they are still completing all of their work, but now they, every day, as soon as this assignment is done, now they do get a break doing a desired activity. If you have ideas for things that you have seen work with competing pathways, or just things that you have seen with that whole piece of what is happening before, during, or after behavior that have been insights that you've gained that you would like to share, I invite you to leave that in the comments. If there are future topics or questions that you have or people that you would like to see interviewed on a future episode, I invite you to leave that in the comments as well. If this information is helpful, I invite you to like, share, subscribe. That helps make this channel more accessible to others and it helps to get this word out there to other people who might need it. Thank you for your time, and we'll see you next time.